Just recently, the Singapore government removed the 15 months cooling wait-out period for private property owners looking to downgrade to a HDB flat, and that's with immediate effect. So I want to be upfront. Okay, this landed really personally for me because I'm someone who has been really thinking about this exact same decision over the past few months. So currently I'm single. I own and live in a condominium, and I've been quietly running the numbers in my head on whether downgrading makes sense. So today I want to have that honest conversation, not just what changed in policy, but the real question would be, should I actually downgrade? What do you give up? And what do you gain? And what do the numbers actually look like? Do they make sense? So today I'm going to use my own situation as the example throughout. Okay, so these are real purchase price, conservative sale estimate, and real maintenance fees that I'm paying in this condominium. So today's video, we're just going to think through the framework and the cost savings perspective. Okay, so firstly, what actually changed and what didn't? Okay, because there's some nuances over here. As you can tell from the news, the headlines, okay, private properties owners can now buy a non-subsidized HDB resale flat immediately. No 15 months wait out period, and this cooling period is cancelled as of 28 July. Okay, yay, good news. But what didn't change, okay, was the 30 months wait out period. That still applies if you want to buy a subsidized flat, a new BTO, or get CPF housing grants. That's a separate, longer restriction and is still very much in place. And the two other conditions that still remains is that you cannot take a HDB housing loan, bank loan only. And secondly, you must also dispose of your private property within 6 months of completing the HDB resale purchase. Alright, so let me share with you my actual situation. So I've been living and I bought this condo back in March 2024 for $1.25 million. It's worth it because I can walk to the MRT, and the current market valuation is looking at about 1.4 million, but I'm going to use a really conservative estimate of 1.3 million because I rather plan based on a conservative number or a number that I'm confident in that I can achieve rather than a number that I'm hoping for. Okay, anything more is bonus, guys. Now here's the timing piece that's really critical because I bought it in March 2024, and that's before July 4th, 2025. So the old SSD rules applies to me, which is a 3 years holding period. Okay, if you've after 2025 is a 4 years holding period. So for me, it means that I cannot sell before March 2027 without paying the seller stamp duty. So if I were to sell between now and March 2027, I'm still in year 3. This means a 4% seller stamp duty incurred on the sale price. If I sell at 1.3 million, that's $52,000 gone just in stamp duties. My earliest, cleanest exit, zero SSD, is March 2027. So after I exercise the option to purchase in March 2027, completion would take about 3 months. So realistically, I'm looking at moving out around June or July 2027, the earliest. So that's my timeline, and I think it's really critical to actually understand the timeline because it means I'm not rushing, I'm actually planning ahead. So now let's talk about the downgrade target. Okay, so I've been searching and combing Property Guru, and I was so shocked that the prices of HDB flats has risen so much over the past 2 over years. Now I'm looking at about 900k conservatively max for a 4-room flat, say in a good location that I like. Okay, so now let's talk about the ongoing monthly savings. This is where I think some people seriously underestimate the financial savings that would be incurred when you shift from condo to HDB. I'm not sure if you guys know, but staying in a condo means that you have to pay for monthly costs, which is the maintenance fees. Depending on where you stay, okay, for me, the maintenance fees works out to $320. And because I'm staying in a private property, okay, taxes are slightly higher. And utilities wise, I have to pay like about $100 a month. So for me, that works out to be about total $636 monthly. But if I were to shift to a HDB, okay, I would have to incur costs on the S&CC, which is going to work out to be $70 to $80. Property tax very significantly much lower, about $60 to $70. And say utilities stay around the same, $80 to $100. So that works out to be $210 a month. Okay, even if it's slightly more, $250 per month. So we're talking about monthly savings of approximately $426. If I say annually, that is $5,000. In my next home purchase, what I'm looking at is staying there long term for over 10 years. So that means I would save more than $51,000 hypothetically. So just from a money running cost standpoint, okay, the savings itself is really attractive. And all these numbers that I'm talking about is before the government benefits that I'll be giving up right now because I'm currently a condo owner. Do you know that if you buy a private property, you do not receive any Usave rebates, S&CC rebates, okay, Kosong. These are benefits specifically for HDB households. So my point is that if I were to downgrade to a HDB and no longer hold any private property, I will qualify for all these government benefits. So in FY 2026, I was just looking at it, and eligible HDB households actually receives up to $570 per year credited directly to the SP Services Utility account. It's a quarterly, automatic, and no action required. So that's pretty good, and plus S&CC rebates up to 3.5 months of conservancy charges charged in FY 2026. So in terms of government benefits, those are really fantastic. So now let's zoom out to the bigger picture. If I were to sell at 1.3 million ideally and buy at 900k, I'm actually freeing up 400k in property values. Some of that actually comes back in cash after clearing the mortgage loan and CPF. And some will go back into my CPF. Okay, so all these exact calculation, I'm not going to touch it here. I'll touch in another episode. But here's the point that doesn't get talked about enough. By staying in a 900k HDB purchase price, okay, it means that I will have a smaller loan than a 1.25 million condo, isn't it? So I like the idea that I would have lesser debt, a lower monthly repayment on my mortgage, lesser total interest paid to the bank over the life of the mortgage. So it's a super win-win situation. And the best part is I'll have less CPF locked up in property, which means more CPF sitting in my OA and SA earning higher interest. This means more available for retirement and more financial flexibility overall. As for the capital that has been freed up, right, that would go into renovation of the new house, and the balance, I will plan to use it for investments, into my retirement fund, into building genuine financial independence. With 400k invested, or maybe even slightly less, okay, 400k, let's say, 4% per annum over 15 years, that would mean more than $500,000, approximately 720k. That's the power of compounding and freeing up capital from an illiquid asset and putting it to work. Of course, I want to be fair about what you are giving up if you were to move from condo to HDB. Personally, having stayed in both kind of assets, I actually see some value in condominiums. I enjoy the gym, the pool, the security, the sense of space and privacy. If these things genuinely improve your daily life, then that's worth something. But factually, although I like the environment, I have to admit that I kind of use the gym very seldom, and the pool maybe once every 2 to 3 months. So sometimes it comes to my mind, right? Is it really worth $320 to $350 a month in maintenance fee plus the gap in running costs? So that's the honest question that I keep sitting with. Maybe if I buy somewhere near a pool, I'll just spend like $1.50 swimming, right? So, and of course, there's an emotional dimension. So some people feel that I stay in condo, it has some meaning. Going from condo to HDB feels counter-cultural. I mean, to me, it doesn't really make a difference since I've stayed in both. So, but I do actually ask people and they actually feel the difference. But having said that, I feel that real wealth doesn't need to be publicly announced itself. The person who makes such move intentionally, runs the numbers properly, and deploys the free capital well, they would be building something really real, quietly, without that monthly stress, monthly extra overheads. I kind of aspire to be that uncle and auntie who walks into a room in Bermudas, plain t-shirt and shorts and slippers, very quiet, unassuming, orders the same kopi o siew dai as everyone else. But the difference is he's probably the richest person out there in the whole room, right? So that's my aspiration. So should you downgrade? For me, the numbers look really, really compelling. I mean, the timing works perfectly, right? March 2027 for a clean SSD free exit. I have some time to plan ahead and look out for good assets, and the money savings are real, right? The capital freed up is going to be really meaningful if I'm looking to retire or do a semi-retirement early. Of course, I haven't put any trigger yet. I'm just talking over here, but I will be speaking more in another video where the real complexity lies, okay? In terms of calculation and numbers, the CPF, accrued interest calculation, the exact net proceeds, and how we should sequence the buy and sell to avoid the ABSD and SSD. Okay guys, I hope you find this video really helpful and useful, and do drop in the comments, are you in a similar situation as me? Because I just bumped into someone else, a store owner, and she said that I also thinking that I saw the news release. Yeah, so I kind of like genuinely want to know what's happening on everyone's thought. Is there like many people looking to downgrade, right? Okay, so you're watching That Financial Goal. I'm a corporate banking finance professional with over 15 years of banking and finance experience. So if you found this piece of video interesting, do hit the like, share and subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys in the next.